on the Vendetta going into the game against Jaeger, it felt like that was a matchup that wasn't quite going in VQ's favor on the whole. But coming into today, the aggression that we've seen from Kurama on that role, it looks like it's really helpful. And Peekaboo as well, you can see in the first game, or the Lijiang Tower that we saw against Jaeger, was potentially losing out the Emre battle, decides to go to something that's a bit more comfortable on the Sojourn and really making it work.
It has been very, very strong from that side of VanirQuick, and unfortunate for Kurama obviously having that struggle on on Vendetta there, but from today it seems that they settled in way more so on that Vendetta, and it's been exceptionally strong. Vendetta itself is obviously a very strong character, but being able to find even more strengths from that character, it seems very good there.
Yeah, but you can't take down Mewthree, obviously a team with a lot of pedigree. We've already said about Hitori, but Kiwi as well, being a standout member of a fair few teams to what I recall. You've got a lot of power on this team. Obviously, the Mewthree roster from last season managed to make it to top 3, but this is going to be interesting seeing Lucio banned on Suravasa, and we said about the speed control for VanirQuick to start off with, and it feels like they're maybe trying to slow it down here.
It does seem that way, yeah, but as you said earlier, they seem to switch this, their pace on a dime, so potentially they might be quite, they might seem quite strong on the slower gameplay as well. So if they can favor this slower style of play, then it might be a big switch up from U3, and they might not be fully prepared for that.
Yeah, but on the other side of things, you're seeing the Vendetta banned, and Kurama was doing really well on it, so you're not going to see that here. But I'd say potentially the Tracer from Kurama on Monday was looking better than the Vendetta, so it could be something that's pulled out of the pocket again and brought in to try and help as something that's very powerful from what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest, though, but I'm sure once we obviously get underway into the game, we will see what ends up actually happening here. But yeah, this unfortunately is obviously a bit out of my knowledge. I feel like I do lack a lot of knowledge when it comes to this game, but yeah, it's something I will hopefully work on going into the future. But yeah,
it's all good. Obviously that means that Rod FD won't be on the Lucio. You're banning out something that you've mirrored to start off with. Is a situation of, we saw another one of the players for VQ come in and play on Monday in the situations where they weren't running the Lucio. So Mysterious potentially coming in for that. We saw Mysterious on, I believe it was Juno and Iari previously on Monday, if I remember correctly. So there's options here, and if they feel like they can play the Juno to the high level, then rotating things around and being able to use that to your advantage, and especially if you feel like you can play it to a better level than Mewthree would be able to, in the pretense that it was a mirror matchup, you still got things in your favor.
Yeah, there's obviously plenty of options there for RD there to switch up after the ban, but it's obviously got to play into your own strengths, figure out what it is that you can work going into this. But yeah, I'm sure hopefully once we get into the game, we will actually get to see what ends up switching here.
Yeah, I think unfortunately at the moment, Discord has decided to have a bit of an issue, so we just have to wait a little bit longer. No, I think it's for some of the players as well, but hopefully things are sorted. And I mean, looking at the two teams coming out here, Rod FD is still in, but on the on the Wuyang instead of the Lucio, and that's going to be mirrored by both sides as well.
Yeah, I mean, it should hopefully be all right. Obviously I'm unaware of these players' strengths and what they do prefer, but hopefully are already Rod. Is it just Rod? Rod FD. Yeah, Rod FD hopefully is also just as strong on the Lucio or on the Wu Yang as they are on the Lucio. So
yeah, you can see Central APAN just looking to get some pressure there on the D.Va. Could be a good matchup into the Winston, potentially just gonna try and go for the counter dives, but where they've been doing their best so far is when they've been deciding the pace of play. And you can see Central APAN already going into the backline, is gonna be caught back by a bubble from Hitori, but able to get back to the rest of the team, and now staging to look at the point as their next target here. Just jumping up onto the higher ground, obviously doesn't want to let Hitori into the rest of the group, but with that defense matrix, obviously it's a better matchup here than you would imagine coming over from all of the knowledge that we have of this game from Overwatch 1. Or Overwatch Classic, as I should say now, and this has just allowed Hitori to get right into the backline, but has to be careful not to overextend here. Eventually does get out, but it's forced trade for Kiwi, but with Strain doubling down onto Tomex, it looks like they're going to be forced back away on VanirQuick.
yeah, I mean, Hitori on that Winston has also already been quite big there. Dumping onto that backline there was able to find so much damage and was kind of filtered out, or not filtered out a little bit, but was found out a little bit. Brought really low, but obviously with Primal Leaf, you're able to get right back out of there and kept back up. Kiwi did fall, but it was very much in the favor of Mewthree there, but VanirQuick already coming back in here and fighting in.
Kurama wins that Tracer 1v1 initially. Junker had to be helped up as well, so now in the 5v4 it means that you have Kurama sort of not as worried about a Tracer duel here and can focus on Hitori instead. Gonna get back to the rest of the team with that Primal pop by Hitori. Can you do anything to knock them off of their stride? And trying to get in and takes down Kurama. I thought that was a pick onto this player here, and Peekaboo, but Central APAN going down as well. And we've seen Hitori in the past on this Winston do big things. And potentially that's going to be something that happens here again for Mewthree as they take this first objective and a clean 99-0.
Yeah, already a very big showing there from Hitori, as you said. Big on that Winston, and still seems to be the case here. Prime was absolutely huge, finding a pick onto Kurama almost instantly and pressuring Peekaboo and the rest of the team there. It was just not too much you can do here, unfortunately, on the side of VanirQuick, but looking to make a difference on this point here. Junker already falling a little bit low, having to back away. Kurama and Central APAN pressuring that, falling back now though to create space elsewhere.
Yeah, it's a tidal surge immediately onto Hitori. It doesn't look like Peekaboo's going to be able to get away. No, perfectly timed for the slide, but it's a trade out of those Sojins with those tidal surges. That means that neither team has overclock on the field, and Central APAN's able to get a great dive onto that Wu Yang there. Kurama as well, winning that Tracer 1v1 once again, and able to get away from the dive back of Hitori, back to the rest of the team, back to be able to stabilize, and Kiwi is potentially going to be caught out here. Had to TP in to try and help Hitori, and Kurama's going to be the one to finish it off, so VanirQuick fighting back here on point 2.
Yeah, started off a little bit rough with that Tidal Blast, but with that trade back, it created a big opening there, and Kurama as well. Obviously, very big, but Kiwi already finding that pick onto Peekaboo. Peekaboo being the first fall in this fight yet again, and unfortunately, that is going to have to, bring VanirQuick back a little bit here, but hoping to stay steadfast. But Hitori, with this Winston's been so big in these dives, it's going to be a big problem on the side of VanirQuick here.
Yeah, but Tomex has built Kitsune quickly, and it's not going to be mirrored on the other side, so as soon as they get Peekaboo back, they go for it, but that's a good dive again with that Primal onto Rod FD, not able to get away, and once again, these Primals from Hitori just hitting a little bit different, and as well, Central APAN just not able to find anything off of that remake, and you can see Mewthree just seems a bit more comfortable in this composition.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Hitori's Winston, can't say it enough. It's been so big, but Peekaboo there falling into that fight again.
Well.
Put him on the back foot, yeah. But put him on the back foot there, Peekaboo falling, and unfortunately wasn't able to clamber back into the round.
Stick doesn't land either from Kurama, trying to get back in, and this Kitsune rush could be absolutely devastating. Gonna line everyone up, and the amount of damage that Junker was able to do onto Central APAN just means that even when you try and get back to the rest of the team, you're not going to be able to save yourself, but It's a bit of pressure onto the point. Kurama trying to force the objective, but no. Ratio there, just making sure that Kurama's not able to find that flip, and with it touching 99%, Central Apan's just able to get in, but that stick immediately from Scrain takes down the Winston. Rest of the team won't be able to get in anywhere near, and once more, Hitori just being able to pressure the rest of the team forces Central Apan into that dive onto the point, knowing the time pressure, and that's just a free stick for Scrain.
Yeah, the Tidal Blast unfortunately not able to do enough to keep Central Apan up there, and unfortunately that stick was able to just bring Central Apan down, and Mewthree finding so much comfort on this map, and especially on this team comp. The Winston is just so good. Junker as well with the with that Sojourn just creates so much damage, but looking to fight into this final point. VanirQuick really needing to make something happen here. Hitori with that Tidal Blast and the Primal Rage there. Ron FD is stuck in this corner, and unfortunately, 3 of them falling now. Tomex and Peekaboo also falling, and Mewthree winning out in this first fight already. And there, Central Apan falling in the end there. Just so strong from Mewthree there.
Yeah, the switch over from Ron FD onto the Brigitte, perhaps to try and get a bit more pressure soaked up from these dives of Hitori. Junker does have this overclock, but the other one on the other side was used by VanirQuick. That is a good start to this fight, though. Gets the opening pick. Now looking to try and get away from this overclock of Junker. That pulse bomb is going to push them back, and a good job by Kurama to find that quick melee. Finds the kill onto the Sojourn. Is traded out, though, by Kiwi. The rest of the team of VQ trying to get onto the objective now. They do have this Kitsune Rush in pocket, and they decide to throw it in. Decide to try and make sure of this fight. Hitori going down should be control of the objective to them secured, and it does flip to their side, but 71% and no ultimates besides that Primal anywhere near. Could be dangerous to try and keep this objective in their hands.
Yeah, it was a big kit rush there and a lot of ults expended, but it's looking a bit rough here unless Central Apan can make something out of this Primal that they've opted to use the rush just now. Then it's going to be a bit rough. Kurama meleeing the ratio there. Wuyang does fall on the side of Mewthree and finding Kiwi. Both supports now for Mewthree done, but Kurama does fall to Hitori there.
Yeah, it's a great effort from Kurama to get everything that they can from this, and Hitori's not able to take advantage. Central Apan looks a bit more comfortable, especially with this switch over from Rod FD. Feels like it's working to VQ's advantage.
Yeah, it does seem that they've fallen into some sort of comfort here. The fights have been looking a lot cleaner, and VanirQuick able to make something out of each and every one of these fights. That switch could be the key to their victory here. But very big pick.
It's incredible from Peekaboo just to find the opposite number, and now with 99% on the point, they are going to be forced back. Hitori playing the objective, it's 1-for-1, but maybe Peekaboo just deciding to get there a little bit too quickly. They're going to try and find out Kiwi, but Scrain's gone huge, finding 3 on this point already. Hitori has gone down, so it's going to be all up to the greater player to try and get something against the rally of Rod FD, trying to keep Central Apan alive, and they're chasing down Scrain so hard. Eventually they are able to clean it up, and not quite as free, going to get the ability to touch as VQ get themselves a foothold back onto this map of Surabasa.
Yeah, I got a little bit nervous there towards the end, but thankfully Rod FD and Peekaboo in the end there were able to find those picks. Central Apan as well, able to find their footing there, close out that point there, and now up in the running now, up to trying to make this a reverse sweep here. Hitori falling so early with that pulse bomb. Really good pulse there from Kurama now. Big opening for VanirQuick to take this fourth point here already.
Yeah, Hitori not even able to pop Primal before that pulse would kill, so Free the Ratio also has that Tidal Surge in the back pocket. Hitori's back as well, quick respawn, and able to put the pressure onto Peekaboo, just about getting away. But that high ground control is lost for VQ to start off with. They do still have control of the point though, as Hitori looks for some way into the backline. Has the Primal as well, just to sustain if it's needed. That bubble expiring, but as we said about the Primal, Central A-Pan's popped it as well, and Karama once again getting the better of Strain here. This has happened multiple times on this map. The Tracer Duel definitely going in the favor of VQ, even though they're behind in point controls of this map. Junker decides to pop that overclock and gets one back onto Karama, trying to find an off angle here, but with that Kitsune rush is going to be difficult. Peekaboo finding control of the ratio just after Central A-Pan goes down. Rod FD once again has built this rally very, very quickly. Going to make full use of it, and Notori's not even going to bother trying to get back onto the objective.
Yeah, what a fight there. It was a big opening from Hitori though, jumping into that, jumping in and splitting up the team. But thankfully, VanirQuick able to respond so well. Rod FD building that rally was absolutely massive there towards the end too. Hitori not able to find too much with that Primal. Found a lot of space, but no real picks or anything. But Mewthree, unfortunately, falling into that, that fight there, and VanirQuick making this potentially a reverse sweep now, looking so much better from the start of this map.
Yeah, the question is, do you decide to switch over the Wii? Yeah, you've stuck with it, but the last two maps where there's not been the mirror on the backside, it's not gone in your favor, Mewthree. The ratio going down so low, but there's no targets else for Peekaboo to get onto. The Kitsune rush is thrown in by Mewthree, trying to get control of the objective, but Central A-Pan's done well to try and distract the rest of the backline. And I know we keep saying it, but Karama once again getting the better of Strain. This Tracer Duel just really going in Karama's favor and able to double up onto Hitori as well before that Primal can be taken back into their hands. And I mean, if we're looking at a reverse sweep here, it feels like it's really come off the back of that switch from the Brigitte.
Yeah, that switch to Brigitte has been so big. Once that switch came through, it has been a completely different story from the side of VQ here. It's just looked so much better. And it really does look like they found their foot here on this map. Losing those first 2 points, but the switch up now feels so much more comfortable.
Pulse from Strain goes wide to try and enter it into the fight, but goes down early once again, and now 50% for VanirQuick. You've got to start hurrying if you're Mewthree. You can't allow too much more time to go off of the clock. And an unmirrored Kitsune for VanirQuick. They're going to try and stop Hitori from getting out here. The Primal has to be popped, but it's a good shield bash onto Hitori from Rod FD. That rally back once again, and there is popped. That Kitsune is going to be unmirrored from the other side, but Junker's gone down early. Traded out though, 2 big picks from VanirQuick. It means there's going to be a 4v3 on this objective. Central A-Pan didn't have to have that Primal force. It means the Kiwi goes down, and it looks like they're just bullying Hitori off of the objective. And where it looked like Mewthree had everything sorted in their favor, looking to be advantaged on the first 2 objectives. The reverse sweep out here from VanirQuick has been absolutely monumental. And the mountain just gets harder to climb for Mewthree, as it's a 2-0 lead for VanirQuick in this series. And they're going to have to mirror exactly what VQ did on this map if they want to take this entire series out of their hands.
Yeah, I mean, what a comeback there. It was looking so rough. It just felt like there was no real in. But Rod FD with that switch onto Brigitte, it has been insane. I mean, that play there, I mean, absolutely crazy. Hitori looked so good, but the switch from to Brig and the mirror there from Central A-Pan as well, it just fell straight into VanirQuick's hands there. And really big props to VQ there for coming back and winning that in such a it seemed like such a dominant fashion as well. The reverse sweep just looked as if the game was in their hands the entire time, but if you go back and watch it, it may seem the complete opposite. And I mean, what a flip of the coin there. Insane gameplay from VQ there.
Yeah, it felt like they were out for the count there, VQ. 2-0 down, and it didn't look like momentum was stopping anytime soon for Mewthree. But again, Rod FD, we're going to praise this so much because, I mean, at least to my eyes, that was what won them the game. That switch over to the Brigitte meant that they could absorb the pressure from Hitori more, and it felt like those rallies were coming in at the perfect timing. They were getting like almost ex machina by those rallies coming online, and you could see it even in the play of the game. It came up as we were watching it, immediately popped, and it leads to the kills of 2 of the members of Mewthree trying to get back that objective. And it felt like once the momentum was in VQ's hands, it wasn't stopping at all. Just a complete flip of momentum from Mewthree to VanirQuick, but it didn't seem like there was anything to try and get the momentum back from U3.
Yeah, it just seems like VanirQuick, once they get this wind under their sails, there's really no stopping them. The anchor has been let go, and it's just, it shows the level of, you know, these teams. Once they get the momentum under their under their sails, it's so strong. But the second that momentum is forcibly stopped from the other side, it just seems to, you know, go the complete opposite way. Both teams just having absolute runs, but the flip of a coin, that momentum can just flip, and VanirQuick there in the end able to obviously find their momentum for a bit longer. But I'll see the map pick here, U3 on that Esperanza now. And out of Runasapi or Esperanza, I feel like I haven't seen an Esperanza get played in a while.
Yeah, I mean, once again, if you feel like you're favored on that map and you don't see it played too often, it can be to your advantage sometimes to pick it, especially when you're in a situation where you need a map right now. Mewthree don't have a map pick left in this series. They don't have anything that they can choose from now going forwards. Even if they win this map, they're going to be stuck with 2 picks for VanirQuick on 2 map types that we saw them win against Jaeger on Monday. They won out Blizzard World and they won out Havana. And looking at Esperanza, I don't feel like it's a bad pick, but I feel like VanirQuick looked so comfortable on Monday on Blizzard World. Havana was a lot closer, but Blizzard World felt like it was a fairly good stomping ground for them. Taking that off of the playing field could have potentially been a better thing for them to do. But at the same time, we did see VanirQuick win Runasapi as well, so you take that off of the board, it means that at least you're taking something that you feel like you can win on, and you need to go to your comfort here if you are going to win out and start clawing back at the deficit that you've got at the moment, trying to get back into this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it obviously comes down to Mewthree and trying to figure out what exactly works better for them instead of VanirQuick, but obviously choosing out on that Esperanza instead of the Runasapi, I guess they try and favor their chances here. But the Winston from VQ there trying to shut out that Hitori, although they did obviously, you know, win against it in the end. Obviously it was quite difficult to deal with. It took them a while to get back into that game, and I feel like on the side of push, you just want to close out as much early stomping force as possible here.
Yeah, I mean that felt like it was the best that Mewthree looked. They definitely put up a lot more of a fight, and it looked like they had VQ on the ropes with that Winston. So banning away, not too much of a surprise. The Winston, the Lucio ban though for me is something that I'm not sure about from U3. It's going to be a mirrored Diva matchup, but we saw how comfortable Rod FD was absorbing the pressure. Actually, no, Hitori switching over to the Ramatra, so... And pre the ratio onto the Ana as well, so an Ana carry backline, not something we've seen for quite a little while, but we'll see how they match up into this.
Yeah, Karam obviously back onto that Vendetta now that it's, you know, back open, so unfortunately we don't get to see that Tracer 1v1 again, which seemed to go Karam's way almost 100% of the time. So
yeah, it's a full investment into the dive,
I just realized Peekaboo instead is on that Tracer, so maybe we'll see if Peekaboo has it in him to win out on those Tracer duels as well.
Yeah, just looking at taking control of the bot to start off with, now looking towards the higher area of the map with Tomex assisting from the back. It's going to be a lot of aggression here from VQ onto the rest of the team of Mewthree in a 1-for-1 trade out early. Scrain goes down, but same with Karama. So those two that have been juking it out all day just go for dives into the backline over the side, and Scrain immediately, you can see, switches over to the Vendetta, not liking the matchup. Refi going down low, but once again able to absorb the pressure, and it looks like Hitori's not able to do too much without this Nemesis form still in the pocket. The shield as well, not there, but that's a crucial pick there for Mewthree. Getting the advantage of that that Kiriko not being on the field, and especially if Kiwi's the one to take it down, they're still holding their own though. VQ just having to back off a little bit, and that's a good final blow from Free the Ratio onto Kurama, who was trying to get out. Now they look to get some aggression onto Rod FD, but has Hattori overstepped here a little bit? Going down low, has to be saved with that Suzu, but once again, going back and forth, and I feel like it's a good fight here. Even if they don't win this out, they've been able to force that annihilation out of the hands of Hattori just to stay alive, and they're still not out of this one yet. Central Apan takes down Kiwi, as Tomix has come back as well to be able to provide more support. Kurama back in position once again. And overall, for what was a very long team fight, ends up in the hands of VanirQuick, and then not that far behind. Junker going down so low to that overhead of Kurama, but just about able to get away. Peekaboo not quite able to find that final blow. Kitsune rushes invested by both sides now, as my word, Rod FD goes in with that rally aggressively as well, trying to find something, but maybe just a bit too much aggression. Not able to stay alive. Junker's been had the nano invested into that Sojin as well, and eventually it looks like Mewthree are going to come out in the benefit of this fight, but potentially not if Peekaboo can have anything to say about it. Tomix is down low, but hiding around the corner, and just about able to get away, but not from Hattori with that Nemesis form. Able to take down two, and my word, I feel like this team fight is finally coming to an end. And
it thankfully has there. It was too much there. Junker with that nano just had so much damage, and it did seem like VanirQuick there was about to win out, but unfortunately with Homex being the only one there, Hattori able to find that pick, was able to shut it down, and after that the last two on the side of VQ were able to fall, and Hattori being with that Nemesis form was just able to, you know, shut it back down. But here we go back into another team fight. Scrain with that Sundering Blade takes down Kurama, and it's putting Mewthree in a really good position here. Kurama does fall a bit low, or sorry, not Kurama, Scrain falling a bit low there, but he's able to get back out. Central Apan now falls to Hattori, and it's looking rough now from the side of VQ.
Yeah, Hattori's using this from Archer absolutely masterfully, using everything in hand just to make sure that Central Apan can't get onto the rest of the team, onto that backline that's perhaps a little bit squishier than VanirQuick, but you can see immediately taking down Kiwi. That's exactly what they want to engage onto VanirQuick. They want to engage onto that Kiriko as much as they possibly can. Central Apan not able to stay alive, but able to drop the bomb, and no pressure onto the remake either. Hattori deciding to invest though, invest that annihilation, maybe not able to keep it up, but with the nano as well, there's so much damage that's done. Takes down two, and now looks to find Central Apan once again. Rod FD and Tomix not there to help out the Diva, and the D-Mech, even if you're not able to find the kill, absolutely monumental as the bot looks to get back onto that objective for Mewthree.
Yeah, very rough there. It's a difficult fight to win out on, but the Annihilation and Nano are now gone from the side of Mewthree. All they really have is this kit rush, which, as we've seen, the kit rush is so big. Junker also has that overclock. It's looking like it's difficult to get in here, but VQ on the other hand has 3 ults of their own coming up on that kit rush as well. So overclock now from the side of Junker is out. Tidal Blast from Rod is out too. Junker finding that pick on Central Apan, and Ratio finding Peekaboo. Rod FD able to shut down that Ana though, but this Mewthree side is looking a lot stronger. Tomix though does find that pick, but can't have too much to say about it. Hattori is on your back already, and Kiwi is finding a pick of them for themselves, and Mewthree now winning out on that fight as well.
Yeah, Central Apan going down early with that overclock from Junker. They used what they have to their advantage and said that they were in a deficit. Doesn't matter if you go quickly enough with what you have in hand, and what they also have in hand is over 100 meters in the lead with already half of the time bank off of the clock. It's going to be an absolutely horrific climb for VanirQuick, and once again just marking out Central Apan and losing your tank this early. Even if you don't have the bot pushing forwards, it's so difficult to gain an advantage here. They're able to just kite this Sundering Blade as well, and as Kurama tries to do absolutely everything, nothing falls in their favor. Peekaboo doesn't find that stick for the pulse bomb either, and I feel like this all-in dive just isn't working for VQ. Potentially they might try and switch something up with Rod FD on the Juno now, away from that Brigitte and the Wuyang, but Hitori still putting a lot of pressure onto this backline. It's a beautiful Suzu from Tomek, and just about able to fight for his life. They do finally get control of the objective with a team kill, but with just over 3 minutes left, it's an absolute mountain for VanirQuick.
Yes, this is a very, very steep climb for VQ there. Hitori's been an absolute thorn in the side of VQ here, and it's just so difficult. Peekaboo, though, finding this, unfortunately isn't able to steal away that med pack, and Kiwi's able to TP out, and unfortunately not too much value found there, but it's going to be such a difficult fight here for VQ, trying to win out on Esperanza here.
Yeah, and once again, you can see the nanos just pops up for pre-ratio with Hitori on that Annihilation as well. It's going to be a very, very long fight. You can see the Sundering Blade trying to stop them from getting the advantage of the Kitsune Rush, but it doesn't stop them for long, and that dive onto the backline could be monumental for them. They look to get back to this forward spawn checkpoint. Pre-ratio going down to Peekaboo with that quick melee as well. It's a step in the right direction for VQ.
Yeah, Mewthree there opting to use the Sunder Blade and Kit Rush, and unfortunately nothing came through with that, and it's VQ able to win out on that fight now. It's actually putting them in a decent position here, coming up on that forward spawn. It's looking better, still got a long ways to go here, especially with that, the Nano and the Annihilation. It's gonna be a difficult fight coming up here in a second. It looks like the Nano comes through here. On the side of Screen though, and not Hitori. Might have been a bit of a misplay there, but Central Apan still falls as not able to, get back in the mech there. Screen is able to shut down that Baby D.Va. And now it is looking very difficult now on the side of VQ, almost impossible it seems.
A very angry Screen there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a little while.
That was Austin a little bit of a while, but once again it gets more difficult for VQ. They weren't even able to get that objective into their hands. Hitori stepping in at the last minute just to stall it out. And nothing on the board here though for Mewthree, coming up on the overclock, but not quite there yet. Tomek's looking to get something onto pre-ratio down to 10 HP, and I feel like that's got to be comms, but no, they find it onto Junker instead. Pre-ratio just about able to get back, grab that health pack, and get back into the fight, but without Junker, you're able to get the pressure onto Hitori, and Central Apan takes down the star of the show so far for Mewthree. Still trying to get back towards this objective, and it's going to be a little bit easier for them to advance as the bot doesn't have to push their wall quite for as much as they have. The forward spawn is still there for Mewthree, and they're able to stay alive here. They've not been able to get any picks, have BQ, and instead they go in the other direction. Central Apan finds one, but that looks like it's going to be all they get. Rod FD found out as well. And Central Apan, this could be a stagger for ages and ages if they're able to find it.
Yeah, that is rough. Central Apan here is so far in the back line, is trying to come all the way back, but Hitori pressuring a little bit, but obviously not going to overextend too much there. Forward spawn now for U3 as well, and it's just with 5 seconds left here, it's not looking good. The U3 not opting to push it too much further here.
Yeah, as overtime starts, it's do or die for VanirQuick on Esperanza as they look to get aggressive once again, but someone's going to be holding down the cart the whole time. Central Apan going down so low. Kurama finding something. It's going to be Peekaboo taking the bot away from the side of Mewthree, but look at what they have on their side of the matchup. Everything in the kitchen sink is there for them to deploy. Junker already finding one with that nano overclock. Makes it a second. Hitori's going to make sure that they can't touch back onto the point, and even with Central Apan finding something, it's going to be too little too late. Mewthree clawing themselves back into this map 5 series, getting themselves back into it with their final map pick of Esperanza.
Yeah, I mean, in the end there, Mewthree just have everything in their roster. It's so unfortunate. You just can't say too much in response to 5 ultimates there, but especially when you have that one player just constantly having to push that point there, you're not really with your team there. you're kind of down a player just having that bot be pushed the entire time. It's a moving team fight, and that's really difficult to play into. And with those 5 ults as well, it just becomes an almost impossible fight there. And VanirQuick unfortunately falling there. It was a good effort towards the end, but unfortunately Mewthree there just so strong, unable to really have much of a say in that game.
Yeah, but it's not the worst case in the world for VQ. Obviously, you don't get the clean 3-0, which would have been just an absolute dominant stamp on them saying, you know, we want to take over this Season 8 of EMEA Masters, but you've now got things in your control for the full first time. Obviously, they picked Lijiang Tower, but they didn't have the first ban for that match, and now going into what's either going to be a hybrid map or an escort map, they are in full control of where we're going for the first time in the series.
Yeah, hopefully they're now with both of these choices in their hands. It should, with the way the entire series is going, it seems to be in the hands of VQ here. But who knows? Honestly, Mewthree could come out swinging in this 4th map, and it could end up being a reverse sweep from the side of Mewthree. You really never know with these kind of games, but VQ obviously has looked very strong this entire time. Even in that loss in Esperanza, you still might be wanting to favor VQ here. But we have decided that Blizzard World is the map that we will be going to here. And as you said earlier on that in the game against Jaeger, it was the dominant map, Blizzard, right?
Yeah, they won out 3-1 in the end. They attacked first, were able to get through the entire map, and then just hold Jaeger on the first objective, if I remember correctly. But things going in their favor so far, and they go back to what's been a comfort pick for them, at least this week, or potentially going back into the past as well. And that's exactly what you need right now. You've come off a loss. Absolutely. You haven't lost a map since map 1 of their series against Jaeger on Monday. And coming back into things, they've only lost 2 maps in this tournament so far. So, you've had a lot of momentum. It's what can you do when the momentum's down, when it's not in your favor? Can you get back into things? And Blizzard World was absolutely something to flip the momentum back to them when it was picked by them on Monday. And once again, it feels like it could be a stronghold for them over this whole split. Blizzard World, not something that we see quite as much as something like a Midtown or potentially a couple of other hybrid maps. King's Row's not in this map pool, neither is Eichenwald, which we know are some fan favorites out there. But you still got a lot to play with in terms of Midtown and Numbani. So going over to Blizzard World's potentially less favored map, but got to get used to it if you're playing against VQ, because they're picking it once again here, and they did so well on it on Monday. Who's to say that it won't happen once again here?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, obviously on the side of VanirQuick, they're hoping that this will be the map that is able to take them to this 3-1 win. As we say, it might be that comfort pick that they really want to favor here, and they're hoping that this will be the one to take them. But Wuyang and D.Va are the 2 that have been banned here. Wuyang on the side of VQ and D.Va on the side of Mewthree there. What's your thoughts on the D.Va ban there from Mewthree?
I don't know. I mean, Central APAN, it felt better on... Oh, my word. Sorry, that's just taken me right out of that. But yeah, it's going to disallow them the space, and it's going to force them onto the Winston to try and get the high ground advantage as we look into the jaws. Mewthree trying to escape the jaws of defeat. So far, they're doing as much as they can. As VanirQuick prepare to leave the spawn room with what's a pretty standard comp for them so far. Central APAN on the Winston, going to be looking to dive Scrain on that high ground, trying to get control and stage towards this first objective. Hitori back on this Ramatra. I wouldn't have been surprised to see that banned from VanirQuick, but they're going to have to let bygones be bygones. Can't change anything now. And with this aggression onto Scrain going down low early, they now decide to put the pressure back onto the backline as they look to flip the map here and gain some control behind Mewthree. And they've already spotted out this Ana as well. Junker Queen's gonna go down solo, and immediately Central APAN and Karama find the chink in the armor and make sure that there's nothing that they can do. Both supports down now with Kiwi following Junker Queen into the grave. It's a good attack of the first objective here for VanirQuick as they take down the rest of the team.
Yeah, very solid fight there. Finding that Junker Queen able to punish the solo Ana there was so big, and immediately off that pick, they were essentially able to dive onto Kiwi there as well. It's just not much you can do there. Once both your supports are down, there's really nothing you can do if you had to back away there, and unfortunately not able to fight into it. And VanirQuick now 5 minutes on the board already. Very quick fight.
Yeah, good advantage that they have so far, but just sizing up this second objective now. Hitori having switched over to the Winston that we've seen her do so well on so far. Comics does have this Kitsune rush though, and this is very early on into this fight, so it's not going to be mirrored on the other side, but will they need it? Karama once again being the thorn in the side of Mewthree. This Tracer absolutely running rampant at the moment and taking down Kiwi, with Strain going down as well to that railgun of Peekaboo. It looks like they've gained control here, and they're going to force Mewthree back to lick their wounds. Kiwi's back to fight out this objective, but they've got the space here, and the Kitsune rush that isn't mirrored on the other side. It's going to be Hitori given that nano and trying to get forwards. Both support ults used and trying to get pressure in onto the backline of Mewthree, and they force them well away from the objective here. Central APAN back to the point, just about staying alive with the help of Rod FD on that Lucio. Just about keeping them up. Rain goes down as well, and they're doing well to trade out here. The Kitsune rush unmirrored, of course, from the side of Mewthree. It's not going to be able to favor VanirQuick, and it means that it's going to have to be a pop of the Primal and the Overclock, but they're doing what they can with what they can, and it's coming up huge for them. Hitori down so low, it's going to be forced to proc this Primal, and that means that they're just going to set their sights onto Cupid's arrow instead. Hitori going down low, it's going to be a last guard stand for the Winston, just able to get back to the objective, but not going to last for long as VanirQuick, with almost 5 minutes, once again starting this third objective. What can Mewthree do to stop them so far?
Yeah, I mean, that was a rough fight there. Good trades on both of any of the ults there. Just ults going back and forth, but unfortunately, VanirQuick, they're able to just hold it out to the end. Junker Queen there falling as well, unfortunately there. But the shots there from Peekaboo were so clean onto Hitori. Just so much damage, had to force out that Primal, and it was good for Mewthree, but in the end, VanirQuick able to just kite it all and able to survive on that point, able to win it out. Now 4 minutes to try and find this third point on Blizzard World.
Yeah, Karama doesn't quite get the stick of the pulse bomb, but Hitori goes in, and the Sundering Blade as well could be big from Scrain. Not able to find a kill though, and just about staying alive. Not for long. Peekaboo and Central APAN teaming up to take down the Vendetta. Next in is Hitori. Can Hitori last the stand? As Junker Queen looks to find the off angle, the nano is there to make sure that Hitori will stay alive, and that's a big pick from Cupid's arrow. It might force them back as Kiwi takes the head off of Karama. Central APAN's able to find the kill onto the Kiriko, but Rod FD from the heights, from the sky, taken down, but that's going to be all they get so far. But look at how much they've been able to force the objective forwards, even though they haven't really won out this team fight.
Yeah, massive dive there from the side of Rod FD and Peekaboo there. Peekaboo diving in first, and then Rod FD able to show up and save the day there. Unfortunately, only found one before both fall, but very nice dive. Scrain is able to find Karama very early in that fight, though. VanirQuick, though, still 3 minutes on the board here. Very comfortable amount of time with the point being so far up. It's still looking very favorable here.
Yeah, Scrain's just looking to mark out, make sure that Karama can't have the advantage that the Tracer has had so far. Keep his arrow going down low, have to rely on the rest of the team to keep up. Now decide to go with that nano to overclock, and it's ripping through VanirQuick. 2 kills from it, and a third as well off of the back of it onto Peekaboo. Central APAN just decides, yeah, it's not worth it. And Strain has found Karama as well. Will the Tracer be able to get away? Forced to recall back to a non-favorable position. It's going to be hunted down, but the savior of Central APAN is going to keep him alive, and the pulse bomb as well misses. Trying to go for the dip. It's Strain down low. Central APAN takes it as well. 3 on the fight as Hitori is in primal, just trying to stay alive in this defense of Blizzard. Well, going to be forced back to the spawn room. Junker Queen decides that it's time to reset, time to get one more fight in as they get close to the final objective, and the only ults on the board are there for Mewthree. Junker Queen decides to switch over to the Lucio, trying to get out of spawn a bit quicker, but Hitori's gone down, and no tank presence for Mewthree. It's going to be so difficult for them to hold on here. Strain not able to get anything off, and Junker Queen's not even able to touch. It does seem like VanirQuick, they have the comfortability here to be able to use this map to their advantage. And when they're back away from the rest of the team, when they have their backs to the wall, this is their comfort, and boy, are they using it to their advantage so far.
Yeah, I mean, Karama able to live there on that. Sorry, I can't remember if it was Karama or not, but the Tracer able to live there from the side of EQ was insane. And then Central APAN there, diving in, getting the shield out, able to save them when they were on so low HP. That was absolutely, like, key to the win there. That was an insane fact. The fact they were able to live there was just disgusting, and a very, very, very confident attack side from DQ there. It was genuinely beautiful to watch. I have to admit. St.
Yeah,
Japan 20 and 2.
Jeez. It felt like the meme of, you know, Winston diving in to save the husband from all the knives being thrown. It felt like saving Karama from absolutely everyone that was trying to find that staggered pick. But I mean, the fact that Karama was able to stay alive there, monumental.
I'm amazed. I'm
amount
truly amazed
that they would put in afterwards. Central APAN, the savior, becomes the aggressor, finds 3 on that fight, and I feel like they're going to be happy with that attack. 1 minute 34 on the clock is a lot of time. And we've not even seen an attack from U3 as Strain just decides to send out that TP from the spawn, decides to not waste any time and try and get in. Hitori now looking to pressure the high ground, but Rod FD is around to make sure that it's not going to be too monumental there. It looks like they're going to try and do exactly what BQ did to them to start off with. Try and go behind and flip the map, trying to find someone out of position, but you're not going to have someone with the lower maneuverability of the Ana on this VanirQuick side. And you can see that they're trying to gain some sort of pick. The TP there from Tomek perfectly timed, make sure that Hitori can't get onto that Kiriko. And now Hitori trying to find something. Just the counter dive from Central APAN means that Hitori, the star of the show so far from U3, doesn't get anything. And now they can collapse onto the rest of the team, just forcing them all backwards. Karama with the broom sweeping away the rest of the team. Central APAN have to be careful not to go down here. They have to be careful not to get too aggressive. Peekaboo uses the slide to get away as well, but good first fight for VanirQuick.
Yeah, Karama finding 3 there, absolutely disgusting, but able to block off Hitori and able to punish that spacing there. But Junker Queen already finding a pick onto Tomex there. This could be a way in from U3 here. But that previous fight, insane from VanirQuick, able to shut down Hitori there, and Karama finding a way back in. But U3 already getting onto this capture point here.
Yeah, looks like they're going to give it up early and potentially look for a play later on, but with Karama and Rod FD going down as well, Peekaboo's going to play Peekaboo from the high ground, but not really much that you can do from there as a solo Sojourn, and it is going to be point control for Mewthree, and only 2 fights to get them there.
Yeah, I mean, Tomex falling a bit early there was unfortunate. It was the way in for Mewthree there, but Fight already going down. Hitori's so weak. Bubble is out and is able to back away to the team there, but there's not much space here from the side of Mewthree.
They find Cupid's arrow early as well. The dive from Rod FD just able to take the head clean off of the Sojourn, and with the rest of the team as well going down, Hitori potentially looking for a play back to the spawn room, trying to keep Junker Queen alive, but the bubble's not going to help them there, and Central APAN doubling up as well, taking down Hitori It's just going to be more time leaking off of the clock as they're stuck in their own spawn for now.
Yeah, on shutting down so much space there from Mewthree. Hittori falling so weak so early means that Mewthree just unable to create much space, and VanirQuick with that dive comp is able to just dive straight onto them and basically just play that first point back again.
Yeah, this next fight, though, is going to be absolutely crucial for VQ. 4 ults to 5. The question is potentially not if you're going to win it, but how many ults can you get out of the bank of Mewthree, as that Kitsune Rush is in. The only thing that's not there on the other side, but Tomix takes a head clean off the Strain, trying to get the through forwards there. And now, as they're looking to progress the cart, they have to do so without their Tracer on the backline, and that means that they're not able to take any attention away from it. Already going down solo, has to pop the Primal just to stay alive, and now looking to get aggressive with it. Just about able to find Rod FD with a help skip, as they're sniping them from the skies. Hitori's Primal does burn out by the end, but they force the beat out as well. And the only thing that Mewthree has left is that overclock from Cupid's arrow. And I'd say that's a pretty good fight for VanirQuick. Even though they didn't win it, they only use 1 ult of their own, and they take 4 off the hands of Mewthree.
Yeah, that was a very, very strong fight from DQ. It took so much from Mewthree to end up winning it out, but Cupid's arrow already opting to use their final ult in the bank. And if VanirQuick can able to fight into this point here, this could be quite bad from Mewthree. Kurama fighting Kiwi with that pulse bomb as well. It's looking pretty even at the moment, to be fair, but nobody pushing the point at the moment. They're gonna have to back off onto this point, and Kurama is, they are aware that Kurama is in their backline and looking for a fight in here.
It's a beautiful
disgusting
of Cupid's arrow, just from the shadows, from that little room with the health back. Make sure that no health is going to be going to Cupid's arrow. Now they look to find out Strain as well. Has the recall, but forced to use it early. And now trying to find Rod FD in return. Just about stays alive to find the kill, but Kurama and Central APAN are able to find the trade. Now looking towards the objective. The Kitsune Rush there from Tomek goes down for it, but the lasting mark that's going to leave on the objective means that Kiwi's just not about to stay alive. The beat as well invested by Rod FD, and now you can see the time bank lower for Mewthree on second objective. The VanirQuick ended up with on third, and they're forced away once again with only a pulse bomb in the back pocket. Junk Queen going to be close to this Kitsune Rush as well. Now it's online, but going to be forced to go back once again here.
Yeah, Mewthree coming up on a lot of ults here. The only one they're not really close to is that overclock, but we've seen Hitori's primals here, and we know just how big they can be. So if Mewthree are able to push in here, Central APAN though, finding Cupid's arrow, that is a decent pick. That does put Mewthree in a decently bad position, but with this ult coming up, it's looking...
Central APAN just about able to stay alive. Doesn't have the primal though, has to back away, and this looks like it's going to be them leaving the objective. With Kurama just breaking down the time bank as long as possible. Not going to be able to find a kill, but draining it back to 30 seconds before it's finally taken. And it looks like even if they're able to push through on this third objective, it's going to be a lower time bank for Mewthree than VanirQuick has.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have seen VanirQuick's defense half so far, and it's been so strong. So there most definitely will be a much shorter time from for Mewthree here. Hitori switching now onto this Mauga here, looking to create a lot of pressure onto Central APAN. It's going to be a bit of a difficult fight, yeah.
To get the dives in. And you can see the bubble already invested just to try and stay alive. Hitori just taking the space here, but the primal is shoved through from Central APAN, and it's Kurama that's able to find the first pick. That Tracer who once again going in the favor of VanirQuick. Central APAN just forced to back away for the moment. Kurama looking to do damage in the backline once more. Rod FD almost built up to this beat as well. That's going to be a mirrored, same with Tomex's Kitsune Rush, and I've got to put credit onto Tomex here, how quickly that Kitsune Rush has been built by the flex court player of VanirQuick, but you can see that this Mauga already put to work with Hitori doing so much damage to VanirQuick.
Yeah, VanirQuick only Central APAN now left to be rezzed, and it is looking a bit rough, but a full minute extra now for VanirQuick. It is looking all right, but B comes out from the side of Rod FD, looking to fight into this now. And Peekaboo dumping that overclock. Hitori already falling. Cupid's arrow now falling really, really weak. Unfortunately can't make it, and Kiwi falls too. It's just Junker Queen left, and with 15 seconds left and the team kill, or not even a team kill, sorry, Scrain is still alive here, hiding in this backline. And it's just looking really, really rough, potentially.
Do they realize that they haven't killed Scrain? Do they realize that Scrain's back here? I don't think they do. They're going to find out eventually, but Karama's just sweeping up the rest of the team, and that means that Central APAN can get aggressive onto Scrain, trying to get back in, but that Kitsune Rush is there, and this could be curtains for Mewthree. Not able to touch once more is Scrain, and once again, VanirQuick going back to what feels like their home ground of Blizzard World, able to take it 3-2-2, and despite a valiant effort by Mewthree to avoid going down 3-2-1 here in this series, that's exactly what's going to happen with VanirQuick holding on to their unbeaten record so far in EMEA Masters Series Season 8.
What are these transitions?
What is this?
This my goat producer, man. But no, I mean, yeah, this Blizzard World looks so good for VanirQuick. I mean, what can I say? I just all around the board. I mean, Hitori on the side of Mewthree has been absolutely insane. Cupid's arrow finding so many good picks as well, but I mean, against the Blizzard World of VQ, it just feels like there's not much you can do. Karamo so big on that Tracer. Central APAN had such a good spacing on that tank. I mean, saving Karama there on that last attack point as well. I mean, all around VQ looks like such an amazing team together. They just piece together so well. Rod FD as well, such a good support. I mean, it all around is a very, very fun match to watch and a very strong showing.
Yeah, it feels like there's no stopping them at the moment, and with the fact that they were able to win out a very well done Blizzard World, it feels like that is their comfort. Even if they go down early, if their backs are against the wall, they have that in the back pocket. And the question is, are a couple of teams going to try and take it off their hands as we look to our match roundup? Lijiang Tower going 2-0 to the side of VanirQuick. Suravasa, that reverse sweep, obviously keeping the momentum in their favor. Esperanza not able to continue that momentum, but going back to the home ground, Blizzard World, able to take that 3-2 with a fair amount of time bank left on the clock as well. 1 minute 30, that's very impressive. It feels like they have the map knowledge there to be able to use it to their advantage when things are getting a little bit rougher.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, VanirQuick, they're so strong. They're able to keep that momentum going everywhere. Obviously falling a little bit early on that, you know, on that Suravasa, sorry, I completely forgot the name for a second, but falling early on that Suravasa, but able to, you know, claw their way back in and keep that momentum going. Falling a bit short on that Esperanza, but with that Blizzard World in the back pocket, teams going forward might be looking to, as you said, shut out that Blizzard World in some form. And because it just looks like their home. It looks like VanirQuick comes from Blizzard World. And it's such a strong showing there, I feel. It wasn't, the scores do look close, but I mean, the games felt so not one-sided. There were some very, very good showings from U3 as well, but VanirQuick just seemed so confident throughout that entire series.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the mental resilience that they were able to have to come back from that 2-0 deficit on Suravasa to be able to come back up. And as well, when you've lost Esperanza, you've lost the map for the first time in this series, you've lost the map for the first time in 6 maps in a row in this tournament. You come back in, you're able to get back to your comfort pick, and it feels like they don't know when they're beaten VanirQuick at the moment, and they're not beaten at the moment, going up to 4-0 on the season so far, and already having beaten the teams that finished first and third in this level of play last split. It feels like it should be a very good season for them, just with what we're seeing so far, and taking down teams that, well, coming into today, only having played Wasp Moss, were Mewthree, but that's the team that it looks like they will be playing on Friday as well. And if this is anything to go by, the fact that Wasp Moss went down 0-3